Okay, we'll go ahead and get started and ask for stand with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Julie.
Mayor Mahler,
Present.
Councilor Gerson,
Present.
Councilor Trask,
Present.
Councilor Gorley, Councilor Coleman, Councilor Sanchez,
Here.
Councilor Richards.
Here.
Let the record show we have 5 present with 2 absent. Councilor Coleman and Councilor Gorley have commitments this evening that you had to attend to personally. So at this time, I ask for a motion to approve their absence.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second by roll call, please.
Mayor Mahler,
Yes.
Councilor Gerson,
Yes.
Councilor Trask,
Yes.
Councilor Sanchez,
Yes.
Councilor Richards.
Aye.
Let the record show 5 ayes with no nays and 2 absent. Approval of their absence. Before I get started, I'll read a quick memo. In order to avoid unnecessary fines from Oregon OSHA for the violation of the governor's mask mandate, I'd like to note that there are signs requesting people to wear masks at the entrance of the building. Masks are available for the use at the back of the room and is an audible reminder of the mandate outlined in OSHA Workplace Advisory Memo 8.13.21. At this time, consent agenda.
Move for approval.
I'll second that.
Second, all in favor by roll call, please.
Mayor Mahler,
Yes.
Councilor Gerson,
Yes.
Councilor Trask,
Yes.
Councilor Sanchez,
Yes.
Councilor Richards.
Yes.
Let the record show we have 5 ayes, no nays, and with 2 absent. Approval of consent agenda. Recognition of visitors and hearing petitions. Anybody who'd like to come forth be heard before council? Just need a name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Kathy Shantz, and I live at 26873 Rowell Hill Road in Sweet Home. And before I recently resettled here, I had visited Sweet Home regularly for many years. And each time I was here, I always did volunteer work with my family, organizing Christmas boxes for Shem families, helping to prepare free manna dinners, and last year, taking meals to the makeshift homeless camp at the Nazarene Church. And I was always really impressed by the efforts made by individuals and churches to help the homeless and others in need here. And I was impressed by the compassion that I saw shown to them by the people of Sweet Home. So I was very pleased to hear that the city was working towards opening a more permanent shelter facility for the homeless. When I was watching a previous city council meeting online as late summer or early fall, I was rather shocked and saddened to see some people arguing against this. And I remember someone going so far as to express a strong preference to keep undesirables out of Sweet Home. And I found myself wondering if those against the shelter had ever given themselves the opportunity to spend time with the homeless, or if they knew anyone who had volunteered with them and came away enriched by the experience as I had been. I myself was homeless for 6 weeks in 2014 after a sudden and unexpected illegal eviction, and honestly, it was a frightening experience. The worst part was the stigma, being looked upon as undesirable because I didn't have a permanent address. And for some, it was if I didn't exist anymore. There are so many reasons for homelessness, but no matter what the reason, everyone in this situation needs and deserves respect and compassion. So personally, I'd like to congratulate everyone who is working towards setting up the new shelter facility for choosing to show compassion for those who don't have a roof over their head. I would like to congratulate City Sweet Home Council for carrying out their mission of providing essential services, including the essential service of shelter, to the citizens you serve and for counting the homeless among them. You have my full support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Anybody else like to come forth, be heard? Okay. Nothing on old business, new business, RCA appointment to committees.
Begins on page 13. We've had 2 people apply to post some vacant budget committee on the planning commission.
Okay, council directive.
So, Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve as recommended. Josh Thorsted to the Budget Committee for a 3-year term and Laura Wood to the Planning Commission with the term to expire December 2022.
I second that.
Motion second by roll call, please.
Counselor Gerson,
Yes.
Counselor Trask,
Yes.
Counselor Sanchez,
Yes.
Counselor Richards,
Yes.
Mayor Muller.
Yes. Let the record show that 5 ayes, no nays, and 2 absent. Approval of the appointment to committees. Next up, RCA for water treatment plant finishing water and backwashing pump project bid posting.
Begins on page 19 of your packet. The project we've been talking about for quite some time. I'll go ahead and turn it over to Greg, Trish, Preston. Starting to think we Christmas space for Preston here at City Hall or down at Public Works potentially.
Yeah, I'll start with this. This is a project that we've had on the books the last 2 cycles. We carried it over, we did some design work last year, carried it over into this year, and we're hoping to get it out to bid and get it completed, I think, shortly after this fiscal year ends. I know we're having concerns with procurement on pumps and other things, so we'll see how that goes. But we worked through a couple of issues that we have at the water plant and the placement of this pump. And you just can't go into a concrete structure and cut a hole anywhere. There was some work and x-ray that had to take place to ensure that we weren't going to destroy the lid. Underneath all those tanks at that water treatment plant, there's a 500,000 gallon reservoir underneath that. And so if you're going to pour into concrete, you want to make sure you're not taking out rebar and other things. There was also some coordination with our new integrator record. When you try to automate a water system, computers play a lot of role in that, and our PLCs and other components that cost during operation. And so those things had to be worked out, and we've got a good plan, and I'll maybe turn it over to Preston if there's anything else you want to say, but we've got the project in front of you, and we'd like to get it out to bid and get this thing done.
The only thing I'd add is the one thing that I'm excited about is we think this is the pumps that we're installing will help alleviate some of the pressure problems you see in certain parts of the system, the water system. So as we start the modeling for the water master plan, we're really excited to see once we get this backwash pump in, if that actually starts to alleviate some of those low pressure issues that we see. And we'll be able to capture that in our model. So I think it's going to be a really important project for your community, and excited to get out to bid. The one thing that I will say, budget is a concern. I think we estimated a little over $500,000 for the project. That's been probably 5-6 months ago that we prepared that estimate. I think we've seen probably construction prices go up 20 to 25% in that time. So I do think there was maybe a return visit to talk about the bids when we do get them. We're hopeful it's the end of the year. People are starting to line up projects over the winter. This is good winter work. So there's a chance we get good bids. I'm hopeful for that, but just the price escalation that we've seen in the market is a legitimate concern for any project of this type, especially if it involves specialty pumps that take a long time to procure and are probably going to get stuck at some port on one side of the country. So that's the one unknown that I think we'll have to watch over moving forward.
Well, I know to that point, I've seen metal and plastic prices double in price just in the last month. That's scary.
Yeah. And pipe's almost impossible to find right now. Fortunately, there's a lot of pipe on this project, but it is hard to find pipe and fittings right now for sure.
Any questions, council?
Mr. Mayor, I got one quick question.
Okay.
Brandon, is there, now that federal money is supposed to be coming out here for long, are we going to be able to get some of that money from the new infrastructure bill that they signed?
We have a lot of questions as to what will be included with that infrastructure money and some of the allowances for that. That I think some of the details are still being fleshed out at the national level from the National League of Cities, and the League of Oregon Cities hasn't put any information out either yet. We are due to receive some money, but at this point, if I had to tell you something, I think that it would be more geared towards transportation and streets than additional infrastructure. We certainly could, if there is a budget issue or a budget concern with this, we could certainly try to utilize ARPA dollars for this, given that it's a water project and fits within those guidelines. But without seeing more information from the feds and from Treasury, I couldn't give you for certain what that infrastructure money is going to be for.
Did you read the 26,000 papers? You should know these things.
I'll be honest, no, I haven't read 26,000 pages yet. I'll let you know next year when I finish reading.
Mr. Mayor, well, I do know that water projects were part of it, though, so it's a possibility that we could.
Yes, but from cursory reading, it seems like water projects that wouldn't be able to get grant funding or, and it's not going to be trickle down dollars. So it seems like water projects or major infrastructure projects like that would be money that's held by either state or federal entities that we would have to request from instead of actual dollars that we will receive. What we are hearing is that the actual dollars the city will receive directly would be related to streets, bridges, that kind of infrastructure.
So I just wanted to say, Preston, that this contract is probably the most detailed contract I've ever, I can't say I read it all, but I do have to say.
I do know that you read the full packet, though.
Well, I do
I
have
sat through enough meetings to know.
I do have to say, though, when it started talking about the color of the wires, and I thought, okay, that's about as far as I'm going to go. So this is pretty detailed.
You did go deep in because that's Division 16, so that's towards the end.
I know,
I would just let you know that's the wires are at the very end of the document. So.
But certainly anybody who's making the bid doesn't have any excuse for not knowing what is expected of them. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, we can't control the contractors, but we do our best.
Right.
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Okay.
So that's one of the questions that I had. I'm just kind of curious your thinking, because it is so detailed and it is a high dollar contract. I was surprised to see a lump sum for the number 2 on the bid. So I was just curious why it wasn't broken down into.
Yeah, we don't, inside facilities, we very rarely break out unit price and lump sum contracts like you would see on a street or a different type of project where sometimes in the fence line, we call them vertical projects, and outside the fence line, they're linear projects. So it's easy to estimate linear projects that have 1,000 linear feet of pipe or 1,000 linear feet of road. When you're talking about things like coring a hole in concrete and dropping a new pump in, it's just really difficult to have a contractor break that out. So what we do require is the schedule of values right after the bid. So we'll have a lump sum bid, and then they'll give us a breakdown of their budget by division. So there's 16 divisions of specifications. So then they'll tell us what their cost is for those divisions. And that breaks down by basically the type of work. And so we'll get a good breakdown that we'll use to actually review their pay estimates and make sure that we're not allowing them to get in front of the payments and that you're getting the value for the work they've performed.
Any other questions? Thank you, Preston. All you do. That said, this is an RCA council directive.
Oh, so we've got to read what it says to do.
Mr. Mayor, I recommend we use option 2. I think that's the only one. Up is page 20.
Motion on the table.
I second that.
Motion second by roll call, please.
Counselor Trask,
Yes.
Counselor Sanchez,
Yes.
Counselor Richards,
Yes.
Oh,
Mayor Mahler.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mayor Mahler,
Yes.
Counselor Gerson.
yes. I'm sorry.
Let the record not show we have 5 ayes, no nays,
We're tired.
and 2 absent. Approval. Moving on to future meeting schedule. Basically, all you need is a consensus of council regarding this. Basically, the thought process here was the way that these dates are falling, that it gives the opportunity for our council and the city staff to have time off with family and get everybody refreshed before the first of the year. Because I know next year is going to be just as much of a challenge it has been this year as next year. So the thought was if the council approved of this, that we'd really basically have one more meeting on December 14th, just kind of finalize the year out and then come back January 11th. That way it gives everybody a chance to spend time with family, get refreshed, and get some time off, vacations, or whatever we need to do here. So what's your thoughts, council?
Yes, please.
Yes. That sounds perfectly good to me.
I agree.
Mr. Mayor, I agree with that. We'll agree with that. This is kind of unusual for me to see the city do is on Veterans Day, and we're going to let them have off Friday. I think that's really a good thing. It'll give you a 4-day weekend, and it's pretty nice. It can get you kind of back a little bit, and it's very helpful. I used to do that when I was employed. We usually took up those 2 days off. It makes a big difference. So
I've received a lot of thanks from staff. COVID fatigue is very real with us and everybody, and the stresses related to dealing with it in the office. It's been a very trying 18 to 20 months to be a public servant. So I know they're very, very thankful for this day.
Well, to Council Trask's point, I know there is some city staff, if not quite a few, that have served our country. So I want to say thank you for your service. But I think the city staff has done a phenomenal job from top to bottom, and I think it's well-deserved time off just to take a breather and enjoy time with family, and I think it's a good idea. And again, I was great to see that the Veterans Day off, so I appreciate that. So anyway, so the consensus is yes. So next meeting will be December 14th and then January 11th. I'll go ahead and say right now, we do have city manager's evaluation. If you can give that back to us through the city, at least before the 14th, and we can put a closure on that. And,
I have to give you guys a written.
well, yeah, go ahead and send one to us, Ray, if you can.
Yes, I will do my best. Got it. Okay. I'm
And
sorry,
then-
I misunderstood you there.
And then 14th, get the
Yes.
council's back, and
Yes, absolutely.
we can kind of proceed on that. So
Yes, absolutely.
anyway, again, thank you for everybody and what the city's done. Moving on, ordinance bills. We don't have any first, second. RCA amended beekeeping ordinance by title only.
Ordinance bill number blank for 2021, ordinance number blank, sweet home ordinance regulating the keeping of honeybees.
Any questions, council? I need a council directive to move this forward for third and final reading.
So, Mr. Mayor, I move that we move this to the third and final reading.
I second that.
Motion and second by roll call, please.
Counselor Sanchez,
Yes.
Counselor Richards,
Yes.
Mayor Mahler,
Yes.
Counselor Gerson,
Yes.
Counselor Trask.
yes.
And 5 ayes, no nays, and 2 absent. Approval of this RCA to move to third and final reading on December 14th. Reports of committees, any committee discussion to be brought up? Okay. Nothing in the mayor's report other than, I guess, just for the Veterans Parade in Albany is being handled differently. Did everybody hear? What's that?
It's called the reverse parade.
Yeah. Kind of interesting.
I heard that they shortened it up too. So,
Anyway, for those taking off, I hope you have some good time off and relax. So, city manager's report.
Speaking of COVID, the library, as you know, was last week. It's back at work this week. We did follow all the guidelines and advice from the health district in that scenario. Again, Veterans Day is Thursday in honor of those that have served their country in City Hall. All city buildings will be closed. We're going to extend that into Thursday the 12th, as we discussed. I will be out of the office as of Thursday and will return on the 29th.
Okay. Department directors reports. Anything for the directors?
Directly, Mr. Mayor, we apologize for no library services director, but of course she was out.
That's fine.
Make that up to you for next week.
No problem.
Mr. Mayor, if I might.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Even though I don't have a technical report, I do want to make the council aware of one instance. We are delaying water shutoffs until Monday. They were scheduled to take place on Wednesday. City staff feels that if we're doing shutoffs on Wednesday and folks get home Wednesday night, find their water and have no recourse until Monday morning, that's not exactly the aim of what we're trying to accomplish. Not fair to the residents in that regard either. So we did, under manager Tao restriction, push shutoffs to Monday. So just as an FYI to the council.
Very good. Any other director report needs to be brought up? City attorney. Okay. Any other council business good of order? If nothing further, we will go ahead and adjourn at 8:04.